Alright, so we're going to look at fossil fuels today. Basically, a fuel is any chemical that can be oxidized or burned to create energy. Now, here we have respiration, and interestingly, glucose in our cells is burned with oxygen. Now, it's not a combustion reaction the way we would think of it, but that's it's exactly what it is. In actual fact, the products are carbon dioxide and water, which are the standard products when any carbohydrate is burned. All right. So now, when we look at fossil fuels, we have to note that the primary source of energy today throughout the world are fossil fuels. Now, some countries or areas rely heavily on renewables, and there are some areas in America in particular which are 100% renewable. France is 90-something% nuclear. So there are a lot of places which have moved away from fossil fuels, but fossil fuel is still the primary source for a lot of people. Now, basically, fossil fuels are created by pressure and high temperatures in the crust of the Earth acting upon the carbon compounds of the buried remains of dead organisms. Now, it says we can take, but they usually do take millions of years to replenish. So, even though they will be replaced, we don't see them as renewable. And our examples are coal, petroleum, natural gas, etc. Now, coal is formed from the buried remains of plants. Okay, so plants, they die. You have a big swamp like we see here, usually 300 million years ago, and everything dies off, and dirt and water compresses it for millions and millions of years, and eventually we get coal. Now, if you look at some chunks of coal, you can actually see fossilized or fossils of leaves and such. So so coal is essentially dead plants that have been squished, and you can see the stages. So you go from peat to lignite to bituminous to anthracite, which is what we talk about as coal now. So the other two we're going to talk about are petroleum and natural gas. They're formed together. We tend to think they're the remains of marine animals, in particular diatoms, so small microscopic animals. They basically were buried and compressed between the sediment for millions of years, and the petroleum gets trapped in porous rocks, so rocks with holes that it's able to percolate through between impervious layers above and below, and it's usually trapped with water. And we know that it's when we talk about petroleum, we're talking about an oil, so it floats above the water. And then we've got natural gas, which sits above that. So the natural gas is usually methane, but the petroleum itself is usually a mixture of hydrocarbons, and the gas floats on top because it's less dense. Alright, so that's the lot, and I'll see you in class.